Chill.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to VFX and Chill. I am Cartoon Hashi, and I may be echoing, I'm unsure, but
not on my end.
Welcome to a very exciting and bizarre episode of VFX and Chill. Today, we are diving into the world of, as you can see from my face,
normalcy,
face filters and real-time AR, VR effects. And this is something that Seth and I, who's on screen right now, and Michael, our lovely co-host, have kind of wandered into the topic of a little bit. But we decided today that we would do better and provide you better information if we brought on our amazing guest, who I think that we should just announce right away.
We should. Let's do it.
Please welcome everybody, Brielle Garcia.
Hooray! Welcome to the show, Brielle.
Welcome, Brielle.
Hey,
Brielle is, someone that we have met through our bizarre dealings on VFX and Chill. She has created some of the most incredible lenses available on Snapchat. Some which you've probably used and have no idea were created by her, which is amazing because they have billions of uses online, which is insane. Brielle, welcome to VFX and Chill.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
I'm on your website right now. Look at all these. You made all of these.
Oh, my website's really old too. I really need to update it.
You made all of these and more. In fact, why don't I'm going to switch over to. I was just on Snapchat. Hang on, let me. It once again locked me out of it.
Oh, hey, there's
There we go.
Hashi.
I'm switching to a Brielle filter right now. Good.
So this is supposedly this is all of your lenses on Snapchat that you've made.
Those are my.
These are just the personal.
Your public
ones,
ones. Okay.
Yeah, I do. Most of my work is like paid deals for brands. Some you get to see, some you don't. Yeah, getting to work on.
Look at that.
I freaking love these. Are so good. Like, there's an artistry to. I was looking at the Nick Lutsko and the Desmond 2023 one.
Yeah,
big Nick fan. I think all of us are. I was marveling at just the beauty of the flapping ears. Like, look at my ears.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, and it's come a long way. So here I am using a hacked together version of this Snapchat for streaming. So I am using a low tech version of the mask right now. I don't have the cool.
It's using the
dynamics.
Original. That's the original lens I made in 2020. That is apparently the fallback for the runtime that version of Snap camera was using. So,
though at least this version made it in. So.
Oh yeah. I still have actual sock in my drawer.
This is one of my children's favorites.
Oh, nice.
So
hello.
Hashi, you invited Brielle onto the show. You were like, I was familiar with Brielle's lenses. I was not familiar with Brielle's work as a whole. I'm curious how you guys know each other, how you both know each other, how you are. Have we worked with you before, Brielle? I don't think we have.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I think that it was a weird happenstance. I could let Brielle answer this actually.
I think it's mostly through Twitter interactions and stuff. And I'm a huge fan of the Raptors stuff. And one of those just brilliant ideas that I'm like, oh, I wish I'd thought of that. That's that's just so good. And the work y'all do is just so impressive. And I'm just like,
I'm sorry. It's our job. It's our job to say that to you because, if it's not clear,
that out of place here. I feel like just a nobody.
You're out of place here because of how talented you are. We have a ceiling on how talented we tend to be on this show week to week.
Seth, just so you know,
let me see if I'm able to.
The audio is being doubled. The audio from our guest is being doubled.
It's fixed. I fixed it.
Okay, good. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Let me see. I think I'm maybe sharing my screen now.
I can't take you seriously, but okay. When can I? Let's go to Hashi.
So I'm trying to use 2 snap lens devices right now. I believe this was one of the first major interactions we had with you, Brielle, was you created this amazing Raptors mask sometime around, I don't know, probably 2022.
Yeah,
maybe
I think it was like 2 years
spring
ago.
2022. Amazing. We were trying to create something like this for ourselves and had lots of questions. And Brielle was like, I could do that.
This, yes, a Raptor lens for us, like, I think is still kind of, because that's awesome, but I think even still, like, it's like we joke on the show that a tornado, that like a realistic tornado, while achievable by many other great people, we have not been able to achieve it on our show, and it's like our white whale. And I think also a Raptor lens, like, that's our Raptor from all of our videos and stuff, is another white whale that we have. I'm saying that
this might be dizzying everyone.
I feel like I'm setting us up to do that on the show today, which we're not going to. I'd much rather talk about, you've got some new work you want to show off and stuff. But if you haven't yet, everybody, go to Snapchat, search up, like, there's plenty of ways. Here we go. Search up Brielle Garcia and get all of her incredible lenses. Look at the friggin' pumpkin. Sorry. This whole thing is going to be us just looking at your work and saying, look at it.
I love this pumpkin one so much.
Oh, and also the week that we were doing Minecraft, Brielle was like, I could do a real-time version of that effect that you're doing painstakingly in rendering.
It's okay. I wanted to see what was achievable in like a few hours that I could spare. But
this is amazing. So
I've done a lot of work in like figuring out like how to reproject the face texture onto different UVs and shapes. So most of the work for the Minecraft one was already done. I was like, oh, I just need to make the blend shape for the face. And
incredible. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing in case this is taxing my computer too much. But,
yeah, I don't know how you're still... Oh, wrong button. I keep hitting the wrong buttons.
Absolutely.
I don't know how your computer is not emitting smoke.
It's hard to take me seriously. I'm going to try
it's not different.
Be a bit more professional here, everybody.
We have standards.
So, yeah, I apologize for this. I don't know what's happening. This is not me. I'm not a cat.
Oh yeah, I've totally forgot.
Yeah,
I'm the one who gets the references like 2 days later, and this is
the further back you go in my lenses, the more references like this you'll see. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing for a brief moment.
Oh my god, it was such a glorious thing too.
And I mean, that's one of the things that I do, genuinely admire about what you're able to put together, because you, like, first of all, we're talking about real-time effects, meaning that there's, not rendering in between, you opening up your phone, picking the filter, and seeing your result on screen, which is really cool. I feel like it's a really cool way to drive performances and immediately start creating. And the fact that you create and put these out so quickly is absurd to me.
And admirable.
So
it's really truly like not only is it impressive, it's also an important work that and I say this with all love, that dumb stuff like that be like immediately in the world as soon as it possibly can be. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a public service you do. I cut Hashi off. I think you were leading toward a question, Hash.
Oh, so basically, I just wanted to ask, like, how, I believe that you used to do more traditional visual effects or something like that. How and with what softwares did you start veering into the world of AR? Most of our viewers are probably not super familiar with it, so feel free to talk down to us in terms of what we know about.
Oh, no, it's nice that I can talk about it from, like, visual effects background, of like, because, like, that's where I started. That's what I was doing in my career for a long time. Like, I tell people, like, oh, I'm a disciple of Andrew Kramer. Like, I like was using After Effects for, God, like 23 years now. So it's been, it's been a fun journey. So I was doing visual effects, doing animation, doing that kind of work. But around 2016, I started seeing like some of Apple's like AR kit demos and Google's AR Core, and seeing Snapchat and stuff doing things in real time on phones that it's like, this takes forever to do. It would take forever to do in post-processing, like face tracking, and there wasn't body tracking at that point, but camera tracking, like putting things in the world. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is so like much more time consuming and much more difficult. So I started like looking into like, how are they doing it? And I wasn't a developer, so I was just kind of just jumping in, and I made some early demos with ARKit and was posting them on Twitter, and some people from Snap saw those and they reached out and they were like, hey, we're working on this new tool called Lens Studio. Do you want to like beta test it? And you could make things for Snap. And I was like, oh, yes. Like, y'all, I had always wondered, like, how are they doing this stuff? And so I was like one of the first people outside of Snap to use Lens Studio. And
can you remind me what year that was?
That was October 2017.
Okay.
So 7 years now. And yeah, it just kind of snowballed from there. As they kept adding new capabilities to Lens Studio, I was constantly trying to have this push and pull between like how can I use this to like further my visual effects? How can I like, what can this replicate now? What things can I fake? What tricks can I bring in from my VFX days that can like, play well here? And so it's just been this constant push and pull of I'm trying to make Snapchat look better and match like what I can do in post-processing, and at the same time making my post-processing workflow faster. And the dream is for those to be perfectly merged.
Amen. Yeah.
We're getting there. The tech is advancing quickly. But Lens Studio is really what makes the AR stuff even possible. Like, it's a phenomenal development environment. Like, it's, even if I'm making something that's not going to be a lens, if I need to prototype something, even for a different platform, I'll start in Lens Studio just because it's so fast to get things up and running. Like,
that is pretty cool.
Some of these meme lenses I'll make, like the meme will be taking off and I'll spend an hour or two and I can have it live and people using it within that time frame, which is just, there's nothing else like it. Like, getting to see that immediate feedback. People don't need to install a different app, and it's just it's addicting getting to see people using your work, but also seeing what they do with it is just really,
that is really great. Mm-hmm. At what point, I mean, it feels like it must have been fairly early on that, like, I think that if you were creating lenses, you'd probably want to see, like, hey, what are people doing with them? And the app sort of, I think, allows you to do that, to see, like, oh, what have people made with this lens?
Yeah.
But at some point, I mean, once you get into the billions, I would imagine you're not seeing all of these or anything like that.
No. Yeah, and a lot of those views comes from just a handful of, like, there's a huge disparity between the ones that go really viral and I love Desmond, but we just crossed 1 million for Desmond. So it's like, which is a huge milestone for Desmond. But the more utilitarian, goofy ones are the ones that really take off. Like I had one of the first.
Just crossed 1 million. You're saying is not super viral. What's super viral?
1 billion.
It is. You just Facebook.
Oh, you just social
networked us.
Yeah. But that's literally it. Once some of the lenses themselves cross 1 billion views, it's like, oh, there's a huge gap. But the stuff like the Ninja Turtles lens, which has brought real work, is only like 100,000 views, but it's
so good though.
Yeah, it's
what's the one what's your most popular one?
The most popular one I had isn't on there anymore because they took it down for being too basic in like this content sweep. but it was one of the original bald lenses. Like that was like where it just would make people bald. But it was fun to get messages from people because I made my face like the icon, and I had like a cousin messaging me like, "Wait, why is your face on my Snapchat?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's me."
What's your most
incredible.
successful one that is available right now? That's like that I can search right now.
I don't even. I think it might be the Coco Melon, which I think like most
Is
people
that
are
one that
using
people are
it with-
hate using?
Yeah, well, people are using it not having the context of the Nick Lutsko video, so like they probably don't even notice like why is the Coco Melon kid in like this dark dungeony basement?
Oh dear.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Like, why are we here?
Phenomenal.
It's like, well, you watch the video and you realize the Coco Melon family is
Oh my God! So there are like kids like playing with this one, like with their parents.
Yeah. So when you see, like, when you make a snap with some of the lenses, it'll suggest songs that some people have used, and it's like people are using like Coco Melon theme song with it, and I'm like, oh God, what have I done?
I didn't know if that was suggested by you or if it's just been what people use it for. That's fantastic.
I also just realized you can still see my face in the live stream, my actual face over on the right side of the screen. So I'm over here like doing the stupidest shit, and it's like,
Oh no,
thinking I have
that's
this
as
mask
exposed
to
as
hide
you can be.
behind.
That's the whole point of these. Is to
Oh,
hide.
this is tracking my body too.
Yeah.
What?
Look at
That's
that.
incredible. I'm sorry.
right,
I'm
Seth is
still.
gonna
This still
just
impresses
dance.
me.
Do the Home Alone pose.
Oh, it's in my head. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The body tracking still blows me away with how like good it is.
So I'm curious.
actually-
Oh, go
I
ahead.
love it. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say I've actually used Lens Studio just for random body tracking because it is it's interesting. We have a body tracking app that I think probably uses ARKit or something like that, but it's not a super developed one. And so I've used it before for some things, but in other cases, I've had a lot more success actually just throwing it to. I literally have like a rigged like character with a very like a UV pattern, like rainbow UV pattern that's very trackable that I then pass on to other software that makes it more trackable because
Hashi will regularly like use like he'll make a Snapchat lens or he'll find one. He'll put it in front of a black background. Like he'll basically rather than track his face or anything, he will do like an entire facial performance through that, screen capture it or something. It's the most backwards thing, but it also makes total sense. But it does bring me to the question I was going to ask, which is how you were talking earlier. I don't want to send us off too far on a tangent, but I'm curious. You were talking about how your life right now is kind of just like getting the quality of the snap lenses like to what you're like post work has been, and getting that post workflows, to the efficiency that like and speed that the snap lenses have. I'm curious about what that second part looks like or has looked like for you in terms of making the post process more efficient, like building these Snapchat lenses.
Yeah. Well, some of it has been like building on Snapchat's other development tools to like build custom tools for to integrate with Unreal, Unity, that can do different captures. One I worked on for a client earlier this year. They were having talent come in to do face performance, but they wanted them to be able to like see their model and capture that data that could then be imported into Maya for their regular animators. So I built a custom tool that would let them use the Snapchat face tracking. It would display the model for the character, but at the same time, it was able to record that to JSON data. And I wrote a Python script that would then import that into Maya. And so it was a lot of work up front, but come the day of the shoot, is like the talent just took a regular video, like they didn't have to think anything of it. And the regular animators they had just imported that into Maya, and they could apply it to the character rig that they were already using. And so that was one cool example of it being used in a professional, like that has shipped in a professional pipeline.
That's maybe the most arousing thing I've heard in years. No, like it's just so I love it so much because you just said a whole bunch of words that were all about the blending of art and technology with this very blurry line of where each stop and the other begin.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to like not have to water down the discussion. Like, oh, I can throw all this out, and it's like, oh, you know what I'm talking about here. Like,
yeah, we can pretend we do. Yeah.
We have our first question from the chat. Dan Art is asking, is this kind of effects that you do replicable in Metaspark? Or like, have you ever worked with Metaspark stuff?
Yeah, I use all the platforms. Let's just say I will not shed a tear for Metaspark's leaving the market next year. No, I have a lot I could say about Metaspark, but no, it doesn't have nearly the capabilities.
Similar, but, yeah.
Lens Studio is the best if you want the best AR experience that you can possibly make. Like, that's where you got to go. I would say.
What makes it so? What makes it so much beyond all the other tools that are out there for you for your workflow?
It's performant. The workflow is just. I like being able to code in JavaScript. You don't have to use a visual scripting system. You can combine like all these things, like especially if you're running on an iPhone, like you can just mix and match. Like, oh, I'm going to in-paint the body of the background. I'm going to have body tracking and face tracking and hand tracking. When you start getting into some of the other platforms like TikTok's Effect House, it's like you kind of pick what one thing you're going to do on Effect House, and you can like safely do that. But if you start blending too much, things will start to fall apart. But Spark, you can do some face stuff, but it's going away, and I am not sad that I'll never have to use it again.
That's wonderful. Though I don't have anything neat to show with it. I'm opening up a copy of Lens Studio just so to remind people of what the interface looks like. We've tried
Spark
using it
for a hot second
before.
once. And
It's very similar to Unity. If you're familiar with Unity, especially the new 5.0 release, it's yeah.
I used Spark for like a hot second during the pandemic, I want to say. Like I just messed around with it, and I made a lens that basically horribly projected a picture of my face onto your face, and it was horrifying, and I was so excited to have that be the only thing I had made that was publicly available, and then they rejected it because it was a person's face, which apparently I wasn't allowed to do.
Impersonating a celebrity, the celebrity being Seth Worley.
Celebrity being this guy. Do you have yours open, Hash?
Feature film director Seth Worley.
I do.
All right.
So let's see. What do we have here?
Is that you,
I
Hash?
think that,
No.
So that's me. So here's kind of what Lens Studio looks like, at least whatever version I have installed. I'm trying to import one of our assets into here. If I have, let's see, Raptor assets. I do love that I have, Raptor assets at the ready. Actually, no, I want Ian's Raptor.
Seth, we need a drop for when Hashi is searching through his file structure for something.
It's just,
we
what
do.
it would be, but
we just
some sort
need
of,
like
Brendan.
or just some
Brendan
kind of
and the
music
Mummy
just to make it
digging
feel a
through
little more
something.
tedious. Like
No, we
what's-
need like Brendan Fraser going through catacomb type things in The Mummy, or Indiana Jones looking through something like.
we totally do.
We do. I realize
sort of
this is
explorer
very
music.
silly for me to do. Let's see. What do I want to do? I want to add like a face. Oh no, I don't remember how to use this well enough. Why am I demonstrating anything?
Yeah. Are you able to demonstrate something, Brielle? We'd love to watch how you do it.
Let's see if I can make that.
There we go. I did it.
There you go.
Yay.
Excellent. So this is maybe more what, just to give a rough idea of what it looks like, there are a handful of little modules that you can add over here that are things like, a face mesh or a full body mesh or things like that, under which you can then do a whole variety of things, which I'm completely out of my depth already. Maybe we should turn it back over to Bria.
It's a full development suite. There's so much that's. I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface still, and because I kind of stay like I do a lot of my character and body tracking stuff, and it's there's a whole host of machine learning options available for you want to train your own custom models and all kinds of stuff, and it's super exciting.
All right, I'm going to close this as I don't have a whole lot to actually demonstrate in here.
Well, I'd love to see if you've got something to show off.
My computer is maybe not happy about it.
Our computers are never happy with VFX and Chill.
Yeah. In the meantime, while that opens up, I can show.
I found it.
You found something?
Yeah, I found. Here's.
It's marvelous.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. Is that you putting your face on your own face?
On my own face. This is my face on my daughter's face and my face. So stupid.
I have an older lens that was
uncanny
to do Nicolas Cage. Which the plan was.
Was it called Face Off?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Everything was going to be Face Off.
And you were going to somehow get John Travolta to demo it?
That would have been nice. Be like, yeah, here's your camera.
That absolutely needs to happen at some live event. I love it. I think I have pulled up on my screen a. I believe this is. Well, first of all, this is amazing. I think that these are some of the I believe your process is you're doing these great 3D scans of NECA figurines, and then where do you do your rigging for all these characters and your blend shape setups and things like that? Because I think this is output to Unreal, right?
Yeah, this was rendered in Unreal. And this was before I really knew how to use my mocap suit, so that's why they're not doing anything but just staring at each other. And I was still really learning Unreal.
Well, it seemed like you knew how to use it. You just didn't know how to move your body, right?
Well, kind of.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I'm really funny. I have to make jokes.
There's a lot of stuff I didn't know, which looking back now, I see it and I'm like, oh, we could do so much cooler. But
it's the process.
But I mean, the quality of this is just something it's such a unique thing because they're figurines and it's got the depth of field like you're shooting a figurine, but the motion of a person. And so the photogrammetry and the movement and everything like that come together in a really unique looking way, which I think is cool. So these are the types of things that I'm excited about because I've always wanted to narrow the time between setup and final product for things like that.
Yeah. So I have acquired way too many action figures over the last 2 years as well because I always justify it as it's for work. It's
tax write-off.
Doing these kinds of things is my work things. And it's do I need more Ninja Turtle figures? And yeah, that's my wheelhouse.
And what you've come up with a couple of photogrammetry solutions. Don't you have some kind of a turn? What do you do?
Yeah. So for the toys, I have a light box with an automatic turntable that films, and by keeping the backgrounds white and the turntable part white, I'm able to easily mask out and capture it from different angles so that there's no occlusion if I'm capturing the tops and bottoms of the figures. And with it being white and from all one direction, it's essentially delit whenever I get the meshes now.
What are you using to scan it?
I switch between Polycam.
Yeah.
If I just need something fast, I'll throw it on the Polycam website. PhotoCatch if I need to use Apple's photogrammetry stuff on a local.
So you're taking the photos just separately on their own, and then you're processing them later. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I have a specific camera for that because like phone stuff is fine, but sometimes you need a real camera with like manual controls that you can easily like configure everything.
Is that why they look so good?
Polarization filter to get the reflections gone.
What's that?
Do you use a cross polarization filter to help minimize reflections when you're doing photo scanning?
I should. For a lot of the toys, like it hasn't made too much of an issue, but I was trying to scan one of the actual Ninja Turtle suits at the museum here, and it's behind glass, and it's like, oh man, I wish I had that right now, but
that is fun. I've had that before.
A little bit ago.
We had a moment a year or so ago. Well, we have a moment once every couple of years where Hashi and I realize we had a DeLorean model at some point and we can never find it, and we still have never found it. But we're like, have we found it yet this year? No. But there's been multiple times where friends of ours who have the larger DeLorean model will just do a quick scan for us, and then we have one for our use. But look at that.
Yeah. That was Donatello from the third movie at Museum of Pop Culture here in Seattle.
It's in surprisingly good shape.
I think they restored it, but
yeah.
I know I've seen.
We've all seen the photos.
Some of these
them.
that have.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that one, but some of them have like needed some love. But
Hashi, didn't the ET in your signs video, Hashi, was this ET that I have back here, but not mine. But you saw it at a store and scanned it?
It's at a store in North Hollywood. I can't remember what it was called. It was next to Rocket Fizz. There was like a seasonal Halloween store, and they had one. So we used that for our.
Just scan it real quick without paying any money or buying it. You know, that's how you do it.
That's what you do. No, I think there's something really, really tactile and really cool about scanned models like this. I feel like even the three of us have our own, scanned photogrammetry faces. Michael, yours is the most
Hashi,
successful.
you have all of ours. We don't have our own. You have all of ours.
That's true. I do have a small collection of Maxonians stored on my hard drive somewhere.
And you're always working on my face when your children come into the office, wondering why you're not spending time with them.
I'm on like version 6 of Seth's face. I'm just trying to. It's elusive, you know.
It's constantly moving.
It's a never-ending process of like I keep revisiting character models that I have, and like because like I need ones of Nick Lutsko and Desmond and all the band, and it's like I'm constantly needing to up their quality as I get better, and yeah.
How did you get connected with Nick? By the way? Have we talked about that?
We have not talked about that. Now, for those who in the audience who don't know, maybe you could talk about the band in general, because some people don't
For those who don't know right now,
with them.
Just set aside a moment to Google Nick, and you've seen Nick's work. Everybody's seen Nick at some point, because his videos are everywhere and they're so freaking good. How did you get to work with Nick?
Yeah, so I connected with Nick on Twitter. I found him through his first Spirit Halloween video, and I was just like,
so good.
I was like, how is this so good? Like, and then he put out the sequel to that song, and
She Was a Skeleton is the funniest line I've heard in any song in my entire life.
I finally heard it in Spirit Halloween the other day.
Oh, really?
And I was dying laughing because like they left in the part where he gives his like Venmo account in the song, and so you're standing in a random Spirit Halloween, and he's like, my Venmo is at Nicholas-Let's-Go-1, and I'm like,
we've done it.
It's amazing. So I reached out to Nick with the very first Desmond filter because he posted his first video of him as Desmond for Halloween in 2020. And immediately I was like, oh, I need a lens of this. Like, this is going to be a thing. And so I made it and tagged him, and he was really
just
impressed.
for audience members who don't know, like, I think it's important talking about like what Desmond is.
Yeah. So Desmond was a character that Nick created as the in-universe explanation. So before I get to Desmond, if you're not familiar with Nick, think like Tim and Eric, like absurdist, like just kind of improvisation humor where...
And if they're Googling Nick, because Nick is a common name, what else should they Google along with it?
Nick
Seth
Lutsko.
says you should Google Nick.
Nick Lutsko.
There you go.
You can find him on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram.
You can search Spirit Halloween Gremlins Nick, and I'm pretty confident he'll come up.
Yeah, you'll find him. And so one of his songs is about where did the Gremlins go, and it's lamenting that, oh, we should have a new Gremlins movie. And the final verse of the song is him pitching like this bizarre take on Gremlins, where Gizmo has a son that's a human hybrid gremlin. And so his Halloween costume that year was this creature, Desmond. And so
and the name is so perfect.
he has stuck around, and Desmond has just been one of those things that for me has like, anytime I'm working on like a new technology, new anything, I'm like, what can I do with Desmond with this? Like, how can I can I put him in a game? Can I put him in, like, make the snap stuff better? And so I connected with Nick over that, and we just then started collaborating on different things. He was like, oh, I need this. Are you able to help with that? And one thing led to another, and it's just our first biggest project was working on the final Spirit Halloween music video. So he came to me like 2 months before Halloween and shared the song with me, and was like, here's what it is. Like, it's going to be this post-apocalyptic world, and is this something you could do? And I said yes. And then I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? And so I spent my entire payment on a brand new Windows PC, top of the line GPU, because I was like, I don't know Unreal, but this is going to need Unreal, because like we don't have time to do renders. So I kind of just dove in. I was like, I'm going to learn Unreal in the 3 weeks I have to do this video. And like,
I love that.
I'm impressed with
tight deadline.
It's the most VFX and Chill thing I've heard on the show.
But I'm glad that was one of the best career investments I could have made, because it's like Unreal has changed everything for me. It's the Spirit Halloween Planet. It'd be October 2021, and yeah, Unreal opened a whole world of. It'll be towards the third of the. Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, this might be the vertically challenged version.
Oh, well,
Oh no.
Oh, sorry.
It was part of my direction, because his Twitter videos were always short, but this was vertical. But I wanted to imply like this is bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's like friggin' IMAX. It's like we're going widescreen.
Yeah. And so for the environment here, I just bought a ton of like kit bash stuff and just started throwing it into scenes, and but yeah, so this was my first Unreal project, and I was like,
Oh my gosh.
we gotta go.
You can see why our paths overlap in the Twitterverse.
Like what I want people to think when they see the work I do is just like, why is this so good for something so stupid? And I'm like,
welcome to what's on our tombstones.
Exactly.
Stupid. All of it.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, like a handheld full immersive environment video is so silly for any memery. And so
yeah. And then to do it in 3 weeks without, I've never used Unreal before, but I knew it's the tool I needed. And
goodness. Have we lost Seth in the video?
Yep, I'm gone. I'm so sorry. You can't put a video like this on the screen and expect me to listen to anybody, no matter how smart or interesting they are. This is so much work, Brielle. This is like
it was, but it was.
And you're not doing this remote. You're in the same place, obviously, like to do this, right? Or are you?
No, it's remote. I've only met Nick in person once.
So how is Nick capturing this stuff?
So I coached him.
Wow!
I told him.
Goodness.
I had him. I told him at the time, go buy a top of the line iPhone Pro. I was like, it needs to have LiDAR, and use Camtrack AR. Here's how to film it. And
we were talking about this yesterday. Is that tool still available?
I don't know. I haven't used it in a while.
But for reference, everybody, it was made by, I don't remember who made it, but it was it basically allowed you, and if you look up Camtrack AR, it might still exist, but you could film a video on the phone in real time while it's also LiDAR capturing it's capturing all the tracking of the camera movement and the environment and everything simultaneously. It's pretty brilliant. So that's so smart. So that's what you had him do.
I think you might have demoed it in our Little Mermaids episode or something like that. Could that be right, Seth?
Maybe. Oh, no, The Matrix. I think I did it on The Matrix episode.
Oh, The Matrix, yes.
The Matrix.
I knew it was something where you made it,
But enough about us.
So for example...
What?
So a shot like this, where it's, a handheld, orbiting kind of shot. Tell me what did you ask Nick to do, and what data are you getting back?
So I got the raw video from the iPhone and an FBX file with the camera movement and position data, and nulls all over the ground so that I could place him in the scene. And then if you go to the end of the video, there's a credits. Right before the credits, it shows a side-by-side of what the footage looked like.
Oh my gosh.
It was not an easy roto job.
I mean, that background is busy as crap.
Spirit Halloween.
Are we getting a real ad now?
Ads. We're getting a real ad now. I'm trying to have my...
Ooh, Cartier Presents. How about I go back to us real quick while you play that ad? Let me know when it's done.
Okay.
If I had been able to be there in person, I would have absolutely been like, let's go shoot let's find a green screen studio. But it was like...
No need. I have a garage.
That's something I can't coach.
Yeah.
Oh goodness!
I mean, as soon as I watched his head go in front of that light, I was like, and then turn around and go behind all that. Like, it's such a busy background to rotoscope. Good.
Oh, but like, look at the blocking here to
smart
put
to
him in front of
big light
the bright
source
background right there.
Yeah. So wait, I missed this.
And then,
you had to roto,
passes,
right? There's no way. There's no data that allowed you to just pull.
No.
Excuse me. That's what I thought. There's no. What is it? Object occlusion now in ARKit or something that.
Yeah, the ARKit stuff. I experimented with everything, but in 2021, nothing was good enough. There's probably better tools now to make it a little.
We say that about
fast.
everything in 2021. Yeah.
Incredible.
But that was like my biggest production to that point, and kind of like our collaboration just really took off from there, because it was like, oh yeah, I can do the stupid stuff, but let's go big. And so everything he comes up with, I try to challenge myself, because his songs are so good, and it's like, I'm just honored that I get to be a part, and I'm like, that I get to be a part of contributing to this canon of work, and it deserves the best. And
It's a wonderful thing to get to be an extension of someone else. So, an artist who you admire and whose work like enriches you and you derive joy from. It's a wonderful thing, because I've had experiences like that where you get to be
for sure,
extension, an extension into another medium for them, and you're both bringing something to the table. Like you're actually, yeah.
We're really in sync creatively. Like whenever we like collaborate and bounce ideas off of each other, we get it. Like I get what he's trying to do, he get what I'm trying to do, and we just are like, he rarely has changes. Like I kind of know what he wants. And yeah, we just have very similar sensibilities, and it makes for a great collaboration. And the music just speaks for itself. Like it's some of my favorite stuff.
Can we talk about this one, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I wanted to so this is
out.
Is this out today?
This is out this morning.
Awesome. It's out today. Briella shared it. It's on Nick's page as well. But like when we speak about the bizarre mixed mediums that you're working with, so there are several that we go through. We have live action with VFX, and then we have I kind of want to separate them into two, because we have these sort of like sprite, based like platformer kind of graphics. We have these more feature, like, I don't know, Final Fantasy, or whatever you'd call them, these like dialogue screens.
Cutscenes, old cutscenes.
Which are great. And are these your 3D models and then broken into these?
Yeah.
And posterized? Wow.
Yeah. So
because they don't look like a photo that's been converted.
Hashi,
Brielle's
about to share. Brielle's about to tell us.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm nerding out.
So when he presented the premise to me, I was like, I'm gonna way overcomplicate this, because so when he specifically mentioned that they wanted it to be they're trapped in a Sega Genesis. One of my hobbies this year has been getting into actual retro game development, and I've been doing a lot of like Sega Genesis development.
What?
So the goal was for all of these to actually be running on a Sega Genesis.
That's a thing?
Yeah. So
goodbye everyone. This is the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Please
I ran out of time to have all of them run, but about half of the shots are real Sega Genesis code where I'm controlling them and capturing it. The ones that I had to fake are still like created, like they could run on the Genesis. I just didn't have time. They're specifically designed around the limitations of the hardware, which is you get 4 palettes of 16 colors. You only have this much VRAM. You only have this much things that can be on screen at a time. The only one is the dialogue between them probably wouldn't work as is on the Genesis. There's too many colors on that foreground palette, because originally Nick and Desmond were going to be separate background layers. So I was like, oh, well, they can each get 16 colors. But having to fake it at the last minute, I was just like, that one won't specifically conform to Sega Genesis hardware standards.
Okay, how though? I'm curious. Yeah. Like, what are you using to do that?
C code.
Wow.
So look at this. Look.
But is there special hardware you have to be able to interface with the?
I have a flash cart that I can put the compiled ROM that I make onto it and then play it.
I just thought this was technology. In my head, I thought this was technology that was long gone, that we had no access to anymore. I didn't realize it was something we could still play in.
Yeah, so the dev kit is called SGDK, and the community behind it is just like so cool. And like I'm on their Discord and like asking for tips on how to do certain types of effects, like the palette cycling when they're getting sucked into the computer, like that's all running on a real Genesis, and the community was really cool for how to help me figure out how do you cycle a palette every frame, and So the first half of this video was just like a love letter to classic Sega and like homages to games, and trying my darndest to like make this like actually run on a Genesis, because I have some like extra blank cartridges that I wanted to put these scenes on and do a giveaway or something. But hopefully before the end of the year I can like sit down and clean it up, because for each of the different scenes, because they have like different sprites and character movements and stuff, I had to essentially compile a new ROM before I would capture each scene, so I don't have one ROM with everything at the moment, but that's the plan. But yeah, so I was
definitely the easiest way to achieve graphics like this.
Yeah.
Is to write and compile your own ROM for the sake.
Because
goodness gracious,
there were versions of these scenes where I thought it would be fine, but when I would run it on the hardware, it's like, oh, I'm out of VRAM. There's too many unique tiles. I need to simplify this. I need to remove things. And I was like really driven to make this as accurate as possible. And there's
and those
nothing more
limitations,
accurate
even the stuff that you weren't able to do through that way, it still made you aware of the limitations, which immediately made you aware of. That's the first step toward figuring out how to I don't want to say emulate, but imitate this kind of old stuff, is to know what the limitations are.
Yeah,
like
the Genesis had very specific hardware needs that gives it a very Sega look, which is really different from the Super Nintendo. And it's just, if you want it to be authentic, you need to know that. And then the whole second half of the video was just.
So then we go down to actual hell.
On Sega game on Sega though, like, because I want us to be able to make an ad that ends with Sega really bad.
We have to. Okay, so then when we transition down into actual hell, we're in a new aesthetic style. So what was this rendered in, and what is contributing to these?
What happened?
This
was rendered in Unreal, and so he gave me this song and just had the guidance of like, so they die in the video game, but they go to real actual hell, which
the way sense. Every 90s movie sets you up.
Yeah, too. And so all I had to go on was, okay, the devil is launching. The devil's going to be responsible for Y2K, and these guys I gotta stop it. And when I was designing the devil, I was like trying to figure out, because I wanted to make him, I wanted to shy away from like all the traditional like demon looking devil, and I wanted to just come up with something unique and creepy, but also fitting within
the pantheon of
devils. And I racked my brain about like, okay, well, how do we like what does it mean that he's making Y2K? Like, what are the lore implications? Like, is he just going to destroy computers? And I don't know that I completely have an answer for that, but then it kind of clicked for me that
oh my god, the Y2K design, like, by the way, the type design on Y2K makes me so happy.
Thank you. I was a designer in the early 2000s, so I had to go back a bit, but the sensibilities were still there in my brain. I had to install some fonts I haven't used in a while, but it was.
I love it. And you had to stretch them. You had to squash and stretch them in ways that you never do anymore.
Yeah. I grabbed my old Macworld magazines from the 90s. Oh my God.
I'm trying to figure out. Is it Yahoo that looks like, or what is that?
It's kind of a mix between Yahoo and eBay.
That's what I'm thinking.
I landed on it accidentally, and I realized it after I put those together, and I was like, oh, it's kind of like Yahoo and eBay, which was just like perfect for that 1999 .com bubble thing. And I was like, what were we talking about? It was everything was Millennium. Everything was internet ready.
.com.
I left a little Easter egg as the projector's coming up. There's an initial slide with some of the features for Y2K.
CD-ROM includes hours of
50 free hours of AOL. CD-ROM compatible.
Oh yeah, for the youngsters in the audience, the internet used to pay by the minute for your internet.
Yeah.
This is what it really is, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so now
I just love that this is a combination of the most advanced performance capture technology and real-time rendering and graphics from the.
Yes,
Now,
it's the Venn diagram of all my interests. And what I also love is that it's a combination. Sorry, Michael. One second. I love that it's a combination of Nick's creativity and your creativity. It is a combination of both of you here. That's what makes it so good.
Yeah, because his initial idea of the devil's responsible for Y2K is just inspired, and that just gives
and that the devil is organized with a slideshow.
You have to be. You have to be.
And I love once I kind of was settling on this 99 .com idea for Y2K, and I was like, oh, the devil should be he should dress like a middle manager, and hell has cubicles, because of course hell has cubicles.
I mean, the Space Jam T-shirt, the Ninja Turtle jammy shirt.
Mm-hmm. God, so that's how I went with the choices that I made here. Were this one was fun. I wish I had more time, because I had grander.
I think it's perfect.
I had grander ambitions, so it's in some ways I understand where George Lucas comes from. I'm I want to go
over
back.
this screen. Saying that, it makes me so happy.
Now I understand George Lucas.
Yeah.
with your ruining Y2K,
That's the quote of the show.
So my original vision for the devil was he was going to have multiple forms that he would morph between, and almost
this is digital magic.
Yeah, I wanted him to be one of his forms to be Hexus from Fern Gully, where he's just this blob of fire and stuff.
Yeah.
But
wow, I haven't thought of
a fantastic performance and bizarrely, in retrospect, sexy character voiced by Tim Curry.
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry. I mean, all characters voiced by Tim Curry are sexy characters, but continue, please.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask, how did you make the devil? Did you sculpt it out of actual clay and photo scan it in, or how do you make this devil's head?
The devil was sculpted in ZBrush,
oh yay!
ZBrush on iPad. I was using the new iPad version, which was
great. Isn't it?
Pretty awesome. Then I moved it to
we need a button for our first ZBrush for iPad.
Have we not done that on the show? We haven't. We've been doing it privately and secretly, but since it's been out, we haven't done it on the show yet. But no, it's great.
Yes, we got to get Ian on the show.
Then I moved it to the PC version to really get it ready to bring it into Cinema 4D to rig, and then
so you do your rigging in Cinema 4D. That's cool. I mean, that's what I would use too. But
depends.
I love all this. I love all those eyes.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's because that meme that's going around about realistic angels are just this big pile of eyeballs, and since Satan's supposed to be a fallen angel, having him be covered in eyes, it's just.
Is that where this came from?
Yeah. That was
brilliant.
That was what I said once I saw this design.
It was if the devil's a fallen angel, could that be?
So good.
Could there be a biblically accurate version? And I was yeah, let's just. Plus, eyeballs just creep me out, so I was just
When that we were able to talk about biblical accuracy as well in this in this episode.
I mean, if you want to get technical, angels are and the cherubim and seraphim are all different.
This wasn't
whatever's.
Yeah.
No, it's such a good design. Taking the biblically accurate angel meme and making it a fallen angel and making him a middle manager, all of it together is just such a perfect character design.
Yeah,
this is wonderful.
Thanks. It feels good to hear that after pulling several all-nighters this week to get this done. And
to do this. Don't you love it when you're it's 3 a.m. and you look at your screen and you take stock of what you're doing with your life and you see this. I understand. No one understands that feeling more than Hashi and I believe. It's and then to have people watch it and then derive joy from it. It's oh, okay, that was worth it.
So one day this week when I was is the shot where the crustacean god appears behind, and it's just the still like this shot right here, I just had to stop and I just cried laughing at like what am I doing with my life? And I'm so happy that I'm doing it. Like
there was one week where I was putting a raptor head on a Hulk body, and this kid who is in the carpool with my girls his parents had to drop him off early that morning. He's like 3rd grade or something. He's this like super hyper kid, whatever. He comes into my office. He's never been in my office, never looked at my screen before. Looks at my screen and I'm putting a raptor on a Hulk. And he's like, what is that? And it's the most loaded question I've ever heard in my life. Like, what is that? It's like, what are you doing? You're a grown up. Why is this here? Where is this going to be? Where has it been? I love it. I love that feeling.
Yeah. I knew this video was really coming together whenever I saw this shot, because because the line I had to go by was like, call upon the cruel crustacean gods, and I was like, all right, what is
that body is where you went with.
That was where I went. Well, because I wanted to do like a JoJo stand of like, well, yeah, Ceviche Man's help would come in the form of like a stand that would come behind him to fight and mimic his movements. And so this one was when I knew it was really working. And yeah.
Oh, this is incredible work.
Now, do you take the raw output from Unreal and just take it as it is, or do you do post processing on it, like adding effects, color grading, any of that kind of stuff?
Depends. I really didn't for this one. I kind of dialed it in all in Engine. I edit in DaVinci Resolve, but there wasn't much editing of this sequence. I kind of pretty much edited it in Unreal, but sometimes I'll do it more in pieces, like if there's certain types of compositing that is just easier to do in a 2D thing. But I really could use, like, the hardest part is doing like these beam effects in a controllable way. Like there's no a real equivalent to like Video Copilot's Saber in After Effects, which would be something like that would be really nice in Unreal, of like, you set 2 points, there's a beam between them. That's all you need. I don't want to have to think about like particle spawning, and I'm not making a game, I'm making a video. And most of these beams are kind of designed around like you're triggering in blueprints and games and stuff. Yeah. I'm like, I make it work, but the beams are still
that's one of those things where it's always frustrating when you're learning a new tool and you're like, all right, I need to do a simple thing. Where do I go in here to do that? And when you can't find it, you become convinced it's your fault that you don't know where to look, and you're not. And it's maddening. This kind of simple thing.
I mean, honestly, this is one of the reasons why Brielle's been such a wonderful resource, because I've had so many stupid questions about how Snapcam worked, like knowing that, like, of course, it's got to be able to do this, but I don't know how to find the right documentation for it. But yeah, Brielle has been kind enough to, like, at random hours be like, oh, you need this thing. And incredible.
Yeah.
See, it's hidden knowledge bases.
Anything else about this brilliant video you want to talk about?
I don't know. I think I hit on everything.
Every single thing.
I wanted to use my motion capture app that I'm working on, but I still ended up needing to use my suit for the performances, mostly because I needed to be running around the room, and my app, since it's camera based, mostly works on like, oh, you need to stay in this field of view right now. But
that's a perfect transition. Well, first of all, let's celebrate and say this is wonderful. This is posted just a few hours ago before the show. We're at 40,000 views on Twitter, x.com right now. I'm sure it's released other places, but incredible. So you're mentioning that you would love to have been able to do this with some kind of a camera-based performance capture mode. So I think that should bring us to a another thing that we would love to talk about on the show, which is Self-Reflect. Could you tell us what that is?
Yeah. So Self-Reflect is a app I'm building that allows for real-time character animation based on Snap's SDK, but making it compatible with currently it's focused towards like VTubing applications to drive avatars and stuff, but I'm building it and keeping in mind, like, I'm a VFX artist, I want to use it in other places, and like being able to use it in Unreal, in iClone, in Cinema 4D, Blender, what have you. And so it's kind of the culmination of my work of bridging these worlds of mobile AR and high-end visual effects. But I guess I can turn on the demo real quick, but it's
demo. I'm very excited about this.
So right now it's geared towards VTube applications, because for a while I was doing a lot of different work with getting the data out of like the Snap ecosystem and bringing it into other apps. But the trouble was I was trying to build the whole thing instead of, why don't I just work with tools that already exist? Like right now I'm using a program called Warudo that handles like the model, the scene. It provides all these great tools for like setting lighting. How do you want your blend shapes to work? How do you want your smoothing to work and look? And so,
hey, Brielle, forgive me if you're piping this through OBS. Are you able to put your camera feed up on it as well, so we could see what you're doing compared to what the character is doing?
Possibly. Let's see.
If not, that's fine. I just didn't want to see this. I know. I love the characters. It's just Muppet typing. Like,
I mean, I'm seeing finger movement on
I
the
did
right.
see finger movement on the other one.
I got to try this out the other day, and my front camera is kind of busted on my phone. It's very like dust inside it, blurry right now. But the tracking in this was very, very cool.
Sorry to create extra work for you.
That's fine. I think they're mirrored at the moment, but
You're DJing. Look at that.
Nice.
That's crazy.
yeah. And what I love about this is there's no calibration. It's just you open the app, you connect to your computer. It's streaming via OSC from phone to the PC. Anything using the VMC protocol is what it supports right now. So stuff like Warudo, VC Face, even right now you can use it in Unreal or Unity using like VMC plugins, and those just take a little extra work to custom map them. Like I have a prototype working where I can drive a metahuman like with this same fidelity, but I don't have all the face blend shapes lined up yet, but we're getting there. It's currently in a limited public beta, and I'm getting lots of really good feedback and things that are working and aren't working and how to make it better. And yeah, I'm really excited about it, and people are really connecting with it because this is
I feel like this is a whole community that I'm, only tangentially aware of because of us trying to do some very stupid performance capture style things. But yeah, I believe that's selfreflect.net. You can go share some info there if you want to hear updates about the program and stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah. So signing up for the mailing list there is the best way to guarantee you'll like get notified. Like I'll make posts and stuff on Twitter and LinkedIn, but I will be guaranteed to send it to that mailing list. But I'm currently full on the beta right now. I've got enough feedback that I need to work through first, and then we'll probably do another round of beta testing before like a final launch. But I have lots
I'm just so mesmerized by the hands.
Me too.
Yeah, the hands are really good. And I have some other prototypes that I'm working on, because like, yeah, it's cool for VTubers, but I have like, I'm a VFX artist. I want to do more. I want like, what more can I do with this? And so I have some like custom Unity apps that integrate with it that takes multiple instances from different angles and fuses it into like a single skeleton. And yeah, and it
sounds really, really
helps.
cool.
It helps with occlusion. It helps with, so the dream is to like get this up and working in a larger space. And can I set up like 8 instances of self-reflect and have, what kind of quality can I get there? And it's like, I want to get rid of my motion capture suit. I want to like, I'm tired of the drift and the recalibration of all that. Cause it's like every time I use, well, now when I use my app, but whenever I was using Snapchat prior, it was like, I just want it to be this easy. And so
it really is. Like you don't have to do anything. It's just you point the camera and it knows what it's supposed to be doing, which is really cool.
Yeah. That's kind of my North Star, is like, I want my high-end Unreal production to be as easy as using my Snap lenses. And we're making progress. We're getting there. But yeah, I'm super excited about the app, and I'm glad the demo is working. I wanted to have the devil character live running on here, but considering the video we just finished it last night,
My goodness.
He's rigged with all the AR kit blend shapes and has a good skeleton, but I just went to sleep instead. I was
Good
like,
for you.
That was wise.
I was like, I have to get up early in the morning to do the show. So I was like, I need to get some proper sleep.
We appreciate it.
Yeah,
that was a good choice. But something like this sounds really promising, and I find it phenomenal that there are some that like camera-based motion capture. It feels like something that I know like Rococo and a handful of other people are trying to do. What I love is that you have this foot in this other world that I feel like might use, motion capture at a larger scale than it's even used for visual effects, because they're so bespoke for a production and for a shot or whatever in VFX. But the fact that this works for digital avatars, I mean, as we can see by the going back to the millions compared to billions juxtaposition, I feel like this is a really cool thing, and I am impressed that you're just building it because you know that this needs to exist.
Yeah, I tell people, like, I'm building the tools that, like, I need this. I want it. I don't love like being on camera, but all the existing VTubing stuff is like a pain where you either like need a suit that's going to drift, or you need gloves, or you need elite motion. Like you need to configure multiple devices. And I'm just like, I'm never going to do that, because that's just, live production is already hard enough. So I was like, driving an avatar should be as easy as a webcam. And if it's not, like, I don't want to do it. And so I'm building like the tools that I need for that. And then, but also keeping my vision to like, how do I make Nick's videos better? How can I, because that's really what it boils down to. Like, I do client work, but I'm just like, the work I do for Nick is like, if I could just do that with the rest of my life, like, I'd be happy. That's what it gives me an immense amount of satisfaction to make very stupid things at a very high level.
Amen. My God.
Absolutely.
That's the most I've never agreed with or related to a phrase more.
I think, I forget where I heard this phrase before, but it stuck with me. Of like, no matter what you're working on, like at any level, even if you're working for like a small client, big client, doesn't matter. Like, if you're, it must have been a photographer, because the line is about photography. It's like, photograph the Little League game as if you're working the World Series. Like, people will notice, people will like, you don't know who's watching your work ethic. And if you're treating the small clients like small clients, like that doesn't help you anywhere.
And to make it even more spiritual or whatever, is that I think that even if you are not literally spiritual, but if you are, even if no one's noticing, you're going to be enriching. Yeah. You're going to be enriching something for somebody, even just a little bit. Like, you're making the world a slightly better place by doing that, and by bringing your A game to the small things, which I love so much. And in relation to the stupid part of it is I love the quote. I think Taika Waititi was telling the story about it. He was, when they were in the middle of writing, he and Jermaine Clement were in the middle of writing What We Do in the Shadows, and Taika was like, "What are we doing, man? This is so stupid. No one's gonna want this. No one wants this. No one's gonna watch this." And Jermaine Clement said, "The world needs stupid shit," and it's like such a profound and legitimate and real statement that we live by and should live by forever.
Now, we do have some chat people with some questions. Alonso Perez Yak 6 says, in this particular example you've got up here, there's not a lot of movement in the mouth and lips currently. How would you add movement of the mouth and lips to something like this?
There is some movement, I've noticed. Yeah, just talk more.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
This is a subtle character.
Yeah, the anime characters usually don't have as much like broader movements, but like Self-Reflect is providing the full suite of like ARKit blend shapes, like the main 52, and so it can drive very expressive things. Just a lot of the. Maybe I have a different character I could.
Sure. Yeah, we have a fun discussion of blend shapes in general in our Moves by Maxon special edition episode, if you want to find that. But I think that, whatever model you're driving with this app or anything driven by ARKit,
look at her.
There's a...
Yeah, I think my initial model I made of me didn't have.
Oh, there you go.
So this has mouth left. I can look.
She looks like she has like she's going through something right now.
It's amazing.
There we go.
But,
by the way, folks in the chat and watching later, if you're interested, the link to the Musa Maxon episode where to discuss blend shapes, the link for that is in the chat.
And it's the special edition.
Love it.
Michael Palak says they're assuming that the tracking and blend shapes can also augment physical movements to be even larger. Is that the case?
Right?
Yeah. Currently the app provides just a set amount of data, and then the receiving app on the PC, like this one here, Warudo, has, you can set your range. Like if I want just a subtle blink to like multiply 3 times. Yeah, that's part of the reason I didn't want to keep building everything from like the whole pipeline myself. It's because all these little details that these tools already have. So my goal is I want to provide like the best data possible, and then
I love those hands so much.
You can take that.
Well, sorry, the best data possible and what?
And then your whatever receiving tool can like run with that.
I love it.
Which is ideally what you want. For anything like this, for any kind of mocap, you want the best, like least glitchy baseline of everything, because then you can build it, augment it, and shape it for a specific character. Do all sorts of things like that. Whether it's for an avatar like this, with some standard smoothing kind of settings, or if you're in a VFX app where you're trying to like really wrangle an exact specific look.
Yeah. And I did a side-by-side comparison because I used the app while I was in my motion capture suit the other day. And I don't have the raw data to put them side by side yet, but I had like the screen capture showing the two side by side, and it was really it was really promising. I'm like, we're so close to being able to ditch my suit, but just it's not.
See, whoops.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's really
sure
getting
if
there.
it's this.
That one should be just a few days ago. Yeah, there it is. So on the right is Self-Reflect, and on the left is my Perception Neuron Studio data.
I mean, honestly, that's
Golly.
fantastic.
It really is.
We're really getting there. It's and I just saw Lens Studio got a new update for some new body tracking stuff. So I'm like, oh, I need to.
And I mean, I want to point out, like I don't know what if the suit has hands on it, but
it does.
So yeah, look at the hands.
Yeah.
And Self-Reflect compared to what's coming
Self-Reflect
through on,
was struggling a little while I was wearing the gloves because they were like full black gloves covering my hands. So it did okay, but it can do better if it sees your actual hands versus gloves.
I mean, the other day I plugged into the beta and was just obsessed, just sitting there doing this and watching. It's phenomenal.
Oh, we got Jamie in the chat.
Hey,
Jamie.
I've used all the other camera based tools, and like it's just the best. Like there's a reason I have built my whole career around it. I tell people they're beating Apple at their own game on Apple's own hardware when it comes to like tracking. Because it's like you would think when you hear, oh, ARKit has body tracking, you would think this is it. But
nevertheless,
fortunately, it's
make
not,
our own
so
luck.
I can make an app and hopefully pay for my kids' college.
Well, this is amazing.
Oh, yeah, this is absolutely amazing.
So again, go to selfreflect.net to sign up for updates and things like that from Brielle. Brielle, where are the best places for people to find you? I know there are several avenues where they can engage with you.
I'm still on Twitter. We'll see how long that continues.
As Taco Lamp.
At Taco Lamp on Twitter. I'm Brielle Garcia on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has become a surprising amount of like support, and like I've gotten quite a bit of work through.
Oh, nice.
I pretty much post similar things on there, and I try to bring a little levity to LinkedIn. I maybe shit post just a little less, but I posted Nick's video on LinkedIn this morning because it's like
putting something like that on LinkedIn is shit posting because it's just
So it's people seem
but
to
it also
appreciate
guarantees you will find the right people.
Yeah, well, because it's
when
like
it comes to a professional capacity.
Well, because it's like Paramount saw my Ninja Turtles lens, and last year I got to work on an official Ninja Turtles lens with
the Mutant Mayhem.
Killer.
The Mutant Mayhem one.
So cool.
Killer.
That was a really fun showcase because that was the first time I got to ship with a client. I'd been trying for a while of shipping a full body tracking character driven lens, and it was really awesome that Paramount was like, yeah, let's do that with all the turtles. And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow. Did you get their assets or did you have to build it from scratch?
We got the models from the movie.
Cool.
But we had someone at the agency had to build out the textures.
That's what I was imagining because they had their own workflow for those.
Yeah. It's always fun when I get to see some of like more of the behind the scenes of some of the movie things because it's like, oh wow, this is like the real thing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
It's like the
digitally dressing for the job you want.
Have you heard the story of the guy who for I believe the opening of Waterworld when the Universal logo that it flies into the earth and down into the ocean, and that he assumed it was a 3D model in the Universal studio logo and requested that model for the Earth, and then a giant crate shows up in his apartment lobby one day, and it's the globe and it won't even fit in the elevator.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes me think of that every time we talk about studios shipping the assets of something to us.
My God.
So Taco Lamp everywhere. Look there for Brielle stuff.
That's on Instagram. LinkedIn, Twitter. Those are probably the best places to see my day-to-day work.
It's amazing. And yeah, as we get more into being able to experiment with Unreal, which I know is something that's like it's on our distant horizons of trying to do better. I think that we will want to try to integrate all of the ridiculous things that we talked about today between motion capture and assets and rigging and everything like that. So yeah, stay tuned here. Stay tuned to Brielle and her amazing work.
Yeah, and please come back on the show, Brielle, in the future.
Oh, yeah, anytime. This was really fun.
We had a blast. Next time you come on, we gotta actually make something. We love. I don't know if you're familiar. We've on the show before. We love to create competitions where Hashi and I have to use apps that we are absolutely unfamiliar with and have no experience with, while we compete against someone who is an expert at it. So we should totally build some lenses next time on the show.
Yeah, I had the thought this morning. I'm like, oh, I should build a lens of the double model from the video. I'm like, oh, it probably wouldn't be too bad. But I was like, it sounds stressful, but yeah, that.
Well, you're going to do it next time you come on the show. I'm now warning you. You're going to build something.
Oh, we can build Sega Genesis games next.
Yes!
Oh my gosh!
Book it. We're doing it.
Done.
Yeah.
Hashi, I'll let you wrap up, man. I don't want to take over.
Well, yes.
What?
Well, we are not on next week, and so we will see you all in 2 weeks. We want to thank you all tremendously for joining us on VFX and Chill. We love expanding into weird worlds of just of seeing what technology and effects can do, and we're so thankful to have Brielle today because it's a whole world that's so close to ours. But we know so little about. So, yeah, Brielle, we're excited to have you back next time, and we can do even more, build some stuff together. And in the meantime, please enjoy some other videos here on VFX and Chill, some other exciting videos on Brielle's pages. And thank you very, very much, everybody.
We'll see you next week. Bye. Or in 2 weeks. Bye.